Okay, good day everyone. So today I will be showcasing the part 1 for the Leaves V2 feature. So this will mostly be featuring the creation of leaf categories and the filing of leaves using the said leaf categories. So this feature mainly focuses on, well, mainly the leaf categories, basically categorizing or dividing leaf types into different categories and deducting from different leaf credit counts or leaf credit totals. So you may have a certain amount of leave credits to one category, a different amount of leave credits to a different category. First off, we can showcase the creation of leave categories using the creation of the leave policy. So here we can set a name as usual, and we can select different presets as well. We can create leave categories and we can create leave types here as well. So for the leave category, we can just create a new category here. So I start off by creating a vacation leave category for vacation leaves, of course. And of course, here we can select the maximum amount of leave credits you can receive within a given cycle. And then we'll set the maximum leave credits to 15. And then here we can select a leave cycle. So of course, given different categories, you can have different leave cycles. That's completely up to you. And then we can choose the leave cycle to start on January 1, and then we can select to make it last until December 31. You can make the credits expire on March 1. We can select whether they accrue or not. So if they accrue, of course, the 15 leave credits are given right away at the start of the cycle. But we can select accruing, and we can select their day of accrual, the first, the second, the third, whatever, so on and so forth. And then we can see here based on what day of accrual it is, on based on the maximum leave credits, what are the monthly credits that will accrue for the entire leave cycle. So every month you will receive 1.25 based on the 15 and divided by the number of months given in this leave cycle. So you can also select whether the leaves are convertible to cash or not at the end of the cycle. So you can choose to make them convertible, choose how many leaves you can convert to cash, and then when the encashment date should be. Let's say February 1. Okay, and here's the enable carryover or not carryover. So this whether the leave credits from the previous cycle will pass on to the new leave cycle. So we can select this, select 5, save. So that's it for the creation of the leave category. We can also create another leave category, sick leaves. As you can see, the stuff that we configured on the previous model are displayed as tags here. There's new additions. So let's say vacation leave. And of course, the new one here is the addition of this input here. You can select which category it belongs to. And these options are based on the leave categories that we inputted earlier. So let's say vacation. And then we also have an option to set whether a leave is fixed or not. So we can, when you enable this, then it gives you the option to set the maximum amount of days that you can file a leave. So let's say maternity leaves usually last 60 days and no more. So you can set the maximum days for the leave to be 60. And you can also select to exclude non-working days. Let's disable that for now. Whether they deduct leave credits more specifically. They require proof, whether they are paid leaves or not, and whether we allow for filing of past dates. Save that. That's basically it. You can also select a policy here. You can select default here. So we have just the general and the special leave. So yeah, that's already set up.
To file a leave, click the blue button with the plus symbol at the top, and when prompted, select your desired leave type from your available options. For this demonstration, select Vacation Leave. Then press Select. Now you can select the date when you want to take your leave. Available dates will show the weeks following your selected date. If applicable to the leave type you selected, and if you have the leave credits available, then you can choose multiple dates for your leave duration. After selecting your desired dates, input the reason for filing your leave request over here. Now double-check your input information. After confirming, click Finish up to formalize this request. Lastly, select your country, province, and city using the drop-downs here and enter your signature in the space provided. Finally, click Finish to submit your leave request to your manager or supervisor for their approval.
Now let's visit this on the executives end. This is of course more or less the same for the supervisor and manager end. For now, let's just stick to executive. Let's go to, oh wait, here, leave requests, and Team Brownie represent. Okay, here, so you can see the leave requests, and then of course all of the relevant details. And now we can see the leave category that this leave is filed under, as well as the remaining leave credits that they have for this specific category. And let's click approve. Okay.
Hello guys, this is the video for the overtime rehaul. So first, this is how to create the overtime policy. Although it's not actually a requirement, we do have a specific overtime policy that we need to follow for the overtime rehaul. So what this policy does is it will actually tell the user what type of overtime policy the company has, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. So that means it'll use that period to count how many hours that an employee needs to render before they hit overtime. For example, let's say we pick daily with 8 hours. So that means every day the overtime policy will check or will inform the user, hey, for today, the user has already rendered 8 hours of service. So that means anything after 8 hours would allow the user to be eligible for overtime. But we aren't making a restriction for the policy yet. This policy will only be used to inform the users that they have a specific overtime policy and they have to go over a certain amount of hours in order to be eligible for it. So we're not trying to make it very rigid where we're following the policy for now, but we're making it so that it will at least inform the user that there is a specific policy that was set, overtime policy that was set for their specific employment policy. So we do that. That's configured. Select the template. Select the region. After that, the new employment policy is created. So in order to amend overtime policy, you go here, you click on amend, let's say weekly and 40 hours. So this means every week it will check for the total hours of an employee, and then it will calculate if the employee it will inform the user that the employee needs to work over 40 hours to be eligible for overtime. Then fourth amendment, amend, it shows here, then must amend. So the employment policy was successfully amended. So that's how overtime policies are created and how they factor into the overtime rehaul. Hey guys, this is the overtime rehaul, how to file. So this is an employee with a regular schedule. So now first notice that there is no longer a file for overtime request button because we have merged it into the time log issue. So what you would do is you would tag specific time logs as overtime, and then they'll be reviewed as such. So how does one go about requesting for overtime now that we removed the workflow? So it's actually a combination of two different features. So the first feature would be the schedule issue feature. So if a person would want to work overtime, a person with a fixed schedule, they would need to create a schedule issue that makes their shift much longer than it's supposed to. And then after it's approved, they can log their time. And after they log their time, they can then file a time log issue and tag which specific hours are overtime. In this case, I want to tag anything after 11 p.m. as overtime. So let me submit this, continue. So now it will give you a little breakdown. This is how many time logs or logs are on task, and this is how many minutes or how many logs have OT requests. So this is the original, this is new. See, it's tagged as overtime, and then it will also show you based on your overtime policy what the minimum rendered hours required are and how much you actually work over the duration. So this is a for our employee Sean Martin here. He has a daily overtime policy with 8 hours. So again, this won't really block anyone from filing an overtime. It's just there as a reminder. It's up to the person who's going to approve this to approve it as overtime. So anything after 11 is overtime. Anything after 11 is overtime. And after that, we will submit. So we have filed a time log issue. And it says that it will say that, oh, hey, this is how many hours uh, a person filed as overtime. So now it's pending for approval. And again, it will also show this here. So now we end this part and we go to the supervisor to see what happens for approval.
To file an admin leave, firstly, you have to be inside the SME portal. So it's right over here. So for this one, it's an executive portal. So filing an administrative leave for an executive, manager, and a supervisor works the same way. And then from here, we are in the employees list page, and we will just choose the person we want to put into an admin leave. So I'm just gonna use this as an example. So I'll file this person into an admin leave. So we have this employee details page, and then we are gonna click on the action drop down, and from here we can choose to file an administrative leave. So we click on this one and we are greeted by this modal. So the first one is the leave type. So we can choose whether the admin leave is a paid one or an unpaid one. And then the leave duration, we can opt for a fixed leave, and we can choose when the admin leave starts and when the admin leave ends. And then the other choice is an indefinite leave. So we can just choose when the admin leave starts. And then the next field is the reason for the administrative leave. So it's just a text box wherein we can fill in the details. And then the last one is an optional field. We can attach some documents or some images to further support the reasoning for this administrative leave. So once we are satisfied with all the information that we inputted, we will just click on next, and then before we actually file the admin leave, we can take a look at the summary of the admin leave we filed. So once we double check the details, we can finally click on submit, and then this confirmation modal rather, pops up, and then we just go ahead and sign that and enter our password. And after that, we have finally filed an admin leave, and we click on dismiss right after, and then we are back to the employee details, and then we can see that this employee is now on administrative leave. So we can also look at the details again by going into this page, which is the administrative leaves page. So we click on this one, and then we can see that the administrative leave we filed a while ago is right over here. Click on this one, and then we can see the details of the filed administrative leave.